Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Sulaiman Rahim here, Master of the Covenant, Breaker of Seven Seals. Fear is getting hotter and hotter every day, brothers and sisters. Now they're declaring that war with Iran is inevitable. Inevitable. That means they're sure it's happening. And they're telling Iran they should do a preemptive strike, which makes sense. Right? And so they fear the consequence. People are fearing what the consequence may be. Right? Not a fatal fear, it's just fear. Right? Not heart attack fears yet. That's coming. Because once this war starts, everything starts happening. See? I've been warned about this for 30 years. Just go back and check in detail. So the whole world is on edge right now. And they're threatening nuclear war. They're threatening to attack Iran with nuclear weapons. You never seen anything like this before, not even close. Not even close. Last time I heard anything about nuclear use was back in the so-called time Kennedy was president, the Cuban crisis. And they weren't really talking about nuclear weapons then. It was just two nuclear powers were at odds with each other, Russia and America. But no use of nuclear weapons was discussed. In this case here, actually talking about they would require nuclear weapons. And they're talking about more openly all the time. And they put nuclear-equipped planes, right, near Iran. And Iran's not backing down. And so, Mr. Trump, the big bully, his bluff being called. I know what's about to happen. Angel is very clear about how it's going to turn out. See? And the fear is going to grow and grow and grow. The fear we've been in a state of fear for 400 years. See, fear is a result of losing control. And God can make our head control the whole world. The ram in Daniel for nearly 500 years. And now they're losing control. And fear is rising. And their last bastion of control is, right, is Middle East. Because that's where the big seal is. That's where the big rock is. What rock? See, they said when they buried Jesus, they put a rock over his tomb. Was it a rock to keep him from rising? See, I know you don't pay attention to these things. They put a rock over his tomb, close the door of his tomb, so he couldn't rise again. That's what they done here. See, false Israel is the rock to prevent us from rising mentally, because everybody knows that's true Israel right there. Everybody tells you. You get in the school, you get from media, you get everybody, right? You get Farrakhan too. We ain't going nowhere. Only time we talk about Abraham becoming is the punishment part. You're being punished. You was evil, wicked. That's not why we went through 400 years. It wasn't because it was wicked, evil. Right? See? But that's where he characterized it, the accuser of our brethren. But he's in on that. Everybody's in on it. The whole nation's in on it. See, they keep us from rising. That's why they put that rock over it, and the rock is false Israel. Because, hey, they must be it. They keep us from rising. Because anybody say that, look, see, if you say we're true, everybody's looking at you like you're a fool. Because, man, can't you see false Israel over there, man? They rose up like the Bible says and all this stuff, right? And anybody that opposed that lie, they're dead immediately. They came after me so many times, right? And they're still coming. I'll talk about that in a minute. But Martin Luther King, when Elijah Muhammad include him in on it, He started talking about the promised land. He was dead the next day. They blew his brains out. Because that's the rock keep us from rising. And that rock is about to be moved. See? And when it's moved, right, all of a sudden the darkness just moved with it. And all of a sudden you see daylight, you see the real world as it is. And you step out. See, when you was in, you couldn't move around, it was dark, and you thought you was dead. And that's the rock that's blocking us from rising. And that block's about to be moved. That rock is about to be moved. And when it's moved, that's why all these things come and work all together. It says, once they move, all of a sudden the resurrection takes place. Why? What was holding the resurrection up? That's it, false Israel. It's about to be taken out. And when it is taken out, because our rise is their destruction. See, he's trying to block the spring. Spring is destruction to the winter. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Spring is destruction to the winter. And you're trying to block that spring. And once that's the winters, see, fear. And it tells you. It gives you an example here, and this is, you got to read it carefully. Men's hearts failing them for fear, for looking at those things happening in the heavens. Power of the heavens been shaken. Heavens in the Middle East. That's a place where sun will start. I mean, something happens over there. They're talking about Jesus rising, he coming back. He's already back. When that happens, false power is shaken, false Israel's gone. The fear would be, oh, we couldn't stop this. We couldn't stop the spring. We couldn't stop it. They come together, see the great army. One army goes down, another one pops up immediately, because one was holding the other one back. And when it's gone, right? See, once the resistance, like you traveling down the road 100 miles an hour, right, and you got a 100-mile-an-hour wind, you ain't going anywhere. 100-mile-an-hour wind, headwind, you're not going anywhere. That wind's 100 miles an hour towards you, and you 100 miles against it. Yeah, you spinning your wheels, you're not going anywhere. But if that wind automatically stops, boom, all of a sudden now you jerk forward, 100 miles an hour. And they're the wind that's holding us back. False Israel mentally. Right? People keep going back and they reinforce it. I remember I was telling a relative years ago. And man, they came back and told me, man, I went and talked to me, asked my preacher about what you said, and he said it's wrong. I said, you did what? I said, you went and asked your preacher what I was saying was correct, and they told you it was wrong. And you don't see anything wrong with that? That's the problem, see. It's remarkable. And that's what you get. Because the mind, the mind vector is so powerful. The mind vector is so powerful. So the point is, they've been studying this for 400 years. So, like I said, you understand how vectors work. So they know how powerful that mental vector has to be and in what direction. Because they found out, right? Elijah Muhammad told them the direction. Because he said, which was Abraham? He told them the direction. Oh, then we can't have them thinking that way because that's what unite them. Because he was uniting people under that principle. So he told them the vector, not intentionally, but the point is they read him and said, oh, we got to keep them from seeing that they're true Savior because there wasn't a problem before that. Because if we saw old movies and everything, they were saying those rituals. Go down, Abraham, what he used to say, saying the old rituals about swing low, sweet chariot, come forth, bring us home, and all that kind of stuff. And nobody gave a damn because it was just some niggas just singing. But then Elijah Muhammad came along after Master Muhammad raised him up and says, no, we're true Abraham, and he got the proof and everything. Oh, we got to have a vector to counter that. And what's the vector? False Israel, who they was hating the day before. Hating them. Hating so much they was eradicated. They called the final solution, eradicating them. That's the vector we need, right? to counter, because Elijah Muhammad was giving him a vector in that direction. He said, okay, you got force, but you have to have direction. You understand? Because we had power, we had energy, but it was misdirected. That was was controlling our energy. So he have him go in this direction, that direction, whatever. Elijah Muhammad focused and said, no, that's the direction you should be thinking. See, and they said, oh no, that will unite them. So we got to have a counter vector, and then that's force set up, and it's been effective. It's been effective. It's been effective. And plus Farrakhan came to give it a boost. See, we ain't going nowhere. Because if we going somewhere, then where we going? Then start bringing everything back into focus again. See? You don't see he's using Elijah Muhammad's name. He's not. I said, I give anyone $1,000 if they can prove that he's representing Elijah Muhammad's teachings and the lessons, or both. Nobody's ever stepped forward. He's not. His whole idea is to reinforce that vector, right? Because we ain't going nowhere. That means, right? That takes the direction out of the vector. And when you understand vector, say what they're doing. It sounds like, oh, no, it's a vector. And the direction of the vector is going home. That's the power of it. Vectors have direction and force. That's what vectors have. And so therefore, you need a counter vector. I mean, it has to equal force or greater, but counter direction. So if it's going north, you get a vector that's going south to stop it. See? So that's where he had to come, okay. So, and that's what Farrakhan's part. He says everything else, but he says, no, we're not going anywhere. That means he took the direction out of the vector. And that was the power of the vector, the direction. Otherwise, your energy's going, you're going every direction. Your energy is ineffective. If you're going down the road and you're going sideways, backwards, and everything, you're not going anywhere. You're going every direction you can. You spin around. If you're going every direction you just spin around. You're not going anywhere. I try to teach you the math, talk to the mathematics side of it. See? So if you understand the vector, you understood that. You had to have a counter vector, and Farrakhan was part of it because his idea, the whole power of that vector was direction. He took direction out. So all other bushes, he say, yeah, but that's all they wanted. They wanted somebody to take that direction out. That's what vector is, direction, force. Where you directing that force to. He took the vector out. That's what the whole purpose of it. Then you understand who he is. You understand the mathematics of it, brother, you understand what's going on. I try to tell you, nobody's paying attention. So we'll talk about that in a minute. See? But it says heart's failing for fear, because all right, that direction is going to be destroyed. And so if you got a vector, you got a counter force. The vector is going, that means you move forward. If you move 100 miles an hour down the road, and you got a 100 mile an hour counter, when you're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. Right. But you move the wind stops, all of a sudden, you're going 100 miles an hour. You move fast. And once they move out, all of a sudden, come together. That's the mathematics of it. And then their hearts are filled with fear, because now, they couldn't stop it. And that force is coming full against us. See? Do double to them as they've done to you. So they're going to see when that goes, a wind stop, remember, wind stop, all of a sudden, everything gets quiet. They were like, the wind stopped blowing, he's going to be going 100 miles an hour, and immediately, that's why these things happen immediately. And I'm standing in the way, he's going to run over my ass. See, I'm standing right there, but he ain't going nowhere because I got that counter wind. I'm standing right in front of him looking at him. He looking at me, he ain't going nowhere. I can stand in front of him, I can dance everything else. He ain't going anywhere. All of a sudden the wind stops. God damn. He's going to jerk forward 100 miles an hour. He's going to run over my ass and kill me. That wind wasn't supposed to stop. I was guaranteed that wind would never stop. That's why they're supporting false Israel. They got to. They have no choice because that's what's holding us down. Because we're the consequence of what they've been doing. We're the consequence of what they've done for 5 years because they've done to us. We're the consequence, and they hold that consequence back there. We're a consequence, right? And so it's a mental thing to stop the whole of consequence. They dam it up. But we're supposed to dam it up permanently forever. See? But then they take that away. Uh-oh. Now they're facing the full consequence for everything they've done. That's where their hearts are feeling, and they realize it. So, oh man, we got to feel. Right? I'm 50 yards ahead of this car, but damn, he's going to be in a second. I can't move out the way. We understand, brothers and sisters. And that's in just seeing the phosphorus goes down. They're going to see something else too. But just seeing that, they get hearts failing, strokes, seizures. What do you think they're going to be doing once they actually get here? Which things will be then? Right? And that's in anticipation. Come on, brothers and sisters. And this is that's why they got him. Check my sound here, brothers and sisters. That's why I got Mr. Trump. Because he's telling them, hey man, I can eliminate your fear. Because remember, what he's going to do? He's going to make sure that vector stays in place. Because that vector's been threatened. Who's threatening that vector over there? Iran. You get the math of it? They're threatening that vector. So we're going to get rid of that. So that vector stays in place. False Israel stays in place. We keep y'all down forever. We damn this thing forever. Because false Israel being threatened by Iran. You see the math of it? So that's why they got to back it no matter what. Back false Israel because it's threatened by Iran. So we got to take out Iran. I said, why y'all mess with Iran? Iran's bothering you. Oh, they try to get nuclear. That ain't the reason. That's not the reason. Because you got to guarantee false Israel's existence because they're the vector that keeps us under control. When you understand that way, you understand clearly the math of it. And that's what he's supposed to do. Because he's a man of peace. Like, oh, so why are you so focused on that? You can't have nuclear weapons. That's the reason they're given. No, they got to eradicate it. False Israel cannot be under any threat. They can't. They got to guarantee that vector stays in place. That guarantees that we stay under control until they find a way to just get rid of us, eradicate us altogether. And it tells you that. Try abortion, that don't throw them into the river, which is the war with China. All this stuff comes in focus once you understand the math of it, which none of you do yet. You will in a minute. I will destroy the wisdom of the wise. See? Because they're operating off of wisdom of the old. They don't understand how the universe works and the pressure. So nothing they do will all fail. They can't maintain that vector because it's too costly. The energy it takes to maintain that vector falls. It was costing them too much. It's bankrupting them because the energy is increasing. They don't understand that. So tracking, even if no matter what they do, it will fail. It will fail. It will fail. See? And like I said, it's like a man that flees from a lion because now it's the focus in our favor. The universe is contracting, means energy is coming. It's momentous in the heaven and earth, but it's coming above a sudden. It being energized. So there's nothing they can do, right? Because it costs too much. Because as we get stronger, remember, the vector has force and direction. So they misdirected it, but our force is increasing. Our force is increasing. That means it's harder and harder, right? See? Let me say it. I misspoke just now. The vector, right? They got a counter vector, but our force is increasing. That means they got to increase the force of that vector to balance it. If you have you have a vectors going north, you have to have one going south. It has to be the same to keep moving. If one going 100 miles an hour, it has to be 100 mile an hour wind. Then you have no movement. That counters it. If that wind is 200 miles an hour, then it push you backwards. You understand? So the thing is that we're being more energized. That means they got to put more. We got to increase the force on the vector. Our force increases because we get more energy. But they got to put more energy. So they got to focus more and more. After a while, they don't have. They run out of energy. They put more and more energy. Look how much energy they're using right now. All the military and everything else, all the energy, and they get all the money they're given to keep forces alive. It's costing them, costing me bankrupt. That's why they don't have enough. Because we getting stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger. So they got to put more and more energy. After a while, right? They just can't do it anymore. See? And then we start moving, right? And we start moving forward. And the energy start backing up because our force is greater than that. Right? So they got to make sure that force stays equal, their counter vector is equal or greater. They have to make sure as far as power is concerned, force is concerned. And make sure it's pointed directly us the direction. Understand, brothers and sisters? Okay, now let me say this. Because there's a bigger misunderstanding out there. You know, I never asked anybody to come here. I never asked anybody to come and help me do anything. I never solicited any followers. Initially, when I first started broadcasting on YouTube, right, I had a thing called a known prophet or whatever, right? And I said, if you want special classes, right, you want to take my special classes, you know, there was a fee for that. If you want special classes, that's only if somebody wanted that, right? And I did for a little while, I didn't know. But I never asked anybody to do anything for me. I never asked anybody to give me any money. I asked anybody to come here. I never asked them one time for a follower, never, ever. Because that's not what this is about. This information about, because Elijah Hammond follows us, what happened to his followers. It's about putting information out there, showing you the way home, direction. It's not about warning you. I'm not here to warn you. Elijah Muhammad came to warn you about the messing of the covenant and about what's happened. That's not, I'm just telling you the facts. I'm not warning you, because warning you to tell somebody like you want somebody so you can correct them. Say, hey, don't go that way. Go that. No, I ain't doing that. Because if you want to go that way, go on. If you want to go on, because we don't want you. Said many be called, but few be chosen. I'm not here to warn you. If you're going the wrong direction, keep on going. I'm just pointing out the information. It's a mental war. I'm not going to go. It's like warning your enemy. Better not go down there because we're going to get you there. What'd you do that for? Now they know how to prepare for your ass. Right? So you the ones, oh man, yeah. Oh yeah, he's right, man. Right? But they don't give a damn about you. They say, yeah, he's right. And now they know how to come back at you. They, okay, what you created, you just strengthened the enemy. Because they was heading right towards their doom. And you told them, oh man, they found out and they hit the court wall. So, okay, man, ooh, I'm glad you told that. Now we come at them another way. No, I ain't here to warn you. I'm here to get you information. Right? And I don't need to be here anyway. Like I said, I never asked to do this. I don't even want to do it. I ain't ever, all the crap I went through because of this here, like I said, I backed into it. Nobody came and gave it to me. It was totally unexpected. Total surprise. But I always say I'm going to do the right thing, whatever it is, And I ran, oh, what the hell I got here? It was a big shock. Big shock, 1989. That was a big shock. I said, what the hell I got here? I mean, I explained the whole situation. I was curious. I went and looked at it. I ain't gonna get all the information. I looked at it and said, hey, man, I like solving puzzles, right? So I can figure this out. I didn't think it was that big of a deal, right? Because I mean, Elijah Muhammad talked about it, but I never thought to look into it. I mean, he said things, right? So, okay. Well, I studied the lessons, but I didn't, you know, I'm going there. And all of a sudden I said, oh. And then I figured out something. Then I came back and said, well, only one person can do that. I said, wait. Next thing I know, because I said I was doing America, I was doing for self, right? I said, had a mini mansion, right? Bunch of kids, right? Rolling the dough, new cars, had my own business. And I said, oh, what the hell is this? And it was disturbing because I never was a person that wanted to be out front. I always stayed in the background. Even when I was in the military, I was a sergeant, and they used to get on my ass all the time. How come you ain't telling people? I said, man, I ain't got time to argue with these people. I do it myself. You can't be doing it yourself. You're supposed to tell the people. I got so much trouble behind that because I'm a hermit. I don't want to be up front. I just want to go ahead and do it, you know. And so I said, oh, man. Even when I was with Elijah, they tried to give me a minister. I refused to do it. I mean, not because, I mean, he had plenty of ministers. If he had no minister, he would need me to do it. I would have done it. They didn't come to me like that. You know, it's just, they didn't come at me like that. They tried to get me to go to minister's class, right? And I wasn't interested, right? Even when I became a foreman, I backed into that. Because when I started the job, right? They, you know, I'm not a likable person, right? Plus I'm a hermit. I don't get out there and bullshit and all that kind of stuff, right? And people don't like that, right? And I don't go with the flow, right? So they got me, they put me like, you know, it's like if you ever did a mechanic, you know, they call it grease monkey. Well, you got a big old press. You got like a grease monkey job. They just stay under the press, clean all the grease and all that stuff and everything. They stuck me right down in there. I'm in my early 20s at the time, right? I was about 22, I guess, maybe 22, about 20, 23, something like that there. Down here, right? But I always pay attention to things. And so I watched how they run that big old press. And I just watched what everybody was doing. When I come up out of the pit, I look around, I watched what everybody was doing. They had computers back then, but they had a console. And I watched what everybody was doing. And it was long story short, right? These people were supposed to be FOI. I couldn't understand why they was always so difficult to work with. I mean, you know, amongst them, anyway. So one day, the bottom line, I don't want to tell the whole story, but I got to leave some points in. They was all trying to get over it. I'm saying, what the hell is these people? So they was trying to take breaks and stuff, you know, and going to bathroom, sitting in that bathroom, I don't want to. So one day, they said they was trying to get a break during the night. I was doing just night shift. And they said, we got to stop for prayer. And when you stop that press, you lose a lot of paper and stuff because you can't do that. You can't stop it. You got to let it run. Otherwise, it costs a lot of money to stop it and start back up again. You got to let the whole rolls run out. And that's even cost yourself, but you don't want to stop in the middle of that. But they want to stop it and say, we're going to. And they thought that was cool, right? And I got back to the messenger, and the messenger sent the message back, says, I'm not paying you to pray, I'm paying you to work. Oh. And they got pissed off about that. They didn't say it directly. And they didn't say too much to me because they knew they didn't know who I was coming from. So the next thing you know, they didn't show up to work. And they was going to be on strike. They wouldn't say it was strike, right? He's FOI. I said, what the hell? So I was there. And someone showed up, but the manager didn't, the foreman. And I remember Brother Leslie, he was like the assistant manager, right? And then Brother Majid, he was the manager, right? And they said, what are we going to do, man? You know, the only one who knew how to really run it was the foreman. He didn't show up. So I went and said, Brother Leslie, I can run it. Everybody looked at me, man, it was like, you know, David and Goliath thing. Oh, everybody was, they was trying to hold it back, but it was hard. I could see it. It was all over their face. It was back by the crack up. This little grease monkey, man, he down there in the pit. How in the hell he know? Because I watched everything. This one, I 6 months about this before this happened. I said, I can do it. Right? I said, I did because it needed to be done, not because I wanted to do it. Because I never showed anybody how much knowledge I had. So they had a console there, so he said, okay, everybody stood back, and y'all saw him grinning outside of my eye, right? And so, you know how you start first drive, you first learn how to drive, you jerk and all that kind of stuff, right? So I got the console and started jerking, the press started jerking, everybody. And about a minute later, man, this thing started running smooth. I looked around, man, hey, you the foreman. That's how I became foreman. Right? Because, you know, I pay attention to everything. I don't just sit around and just scratch my ass. I pay attention to everything in life. If I live this life, I want to know what it's about. So, what I'm saying is that I didn't want to be out front. I didn't want to be a foreman. I didn't want to be in charge. Every opportunity I had to be, I never always turned it down. Okay, that's not me. I'd be in the background. Right? So like I said, I didn't ask to do this. And it surprised me. I mean, a state of shock, still a state of shock. Because this is something I definitely want to do. I didn't want this kind of responsibility, right? I was totally willing to give 100% in the background. I'd be a good foot soldier. I don't want to be no general, though. So here it is. So now I got total responsibility for 2 nations, the Levites and the Shabazz. I ain't see it that way at that time, right? And you see the story of Jonah, how that went down. That didn't go down too well, right? So like I said, and I know after getting into it, I realized there's going to be a time differential there. Some things I know, these certain things would happen, certain things happen. And I knew there wouldn't be any followers and all that kind of stuff, right? Because I said, this wouldn't happen. It says, son of man, when you're ready, your people are ready. So no, okay, I just got to put this information out there and keep studying and get this information out there. Keep putting those vibrations because it's affecting things. You understand? It's a mental thing. So you put a new thought in the world. Well, it's affecting people. Whether they accept it or not, it's still affecting people. So it takes a amount of time, right? You put something in the oven, it takes a while for it to bake. So you don't see it right away, but you keep on putting the heat, put the heat after a while. And that's what's going on. I'm not getting too detailed about that. But so I'm doing this, and I know in there, and I said, I had that book here. But after I get into it, and I get in the book of Daniel, I realized it was Daniel first. I first came to realization there'd be 3 people that would get involved. I said, okay. And I did a little research to figure out what it was, and like it says one thing in Daniel, but they never do anything in Daniel. And I see in the Revelation, but then it talks about in there, it says it's an F, it's a big F question. Because I'm knocking at the door, but F to hear my voice. So I'm saying, well, you know, right? I said, well, there'll be 3. And I got a book here. I don't see what round here. But it's back in 92, I think it was, right, when I published this book. And I got 3 right on the page, 3. So it's not like I just made this up. I knew they'd be showing up sometime in the future. And so I wasn't sure what of value they would be or not, but they would show up. There's a big question about them. It wasn't clear, right? And it's been a disaster. Okay? Because it tells anybody that resists this message, right? Anybody who resists this message, it said to be crushed. And they've been totally resistant. I'm not, you are resistant. Because if I got to push you, that's resistance. That means you get in the way, cause me problems. I already got enough problems. The resistance I'm getting just doing this message, resistance started right away. Resistance started right away. So like this, I lost family, lost everything. I didn't have to. I just let it go. I saw it was, I knew about Joe and everything else. I said, okay, that's the price I got to pay. I'm going to get this job done. If I accept this mission, I'm going to get this job done. So things, resistance. 3 years on lockdown on Demon Island, right? Because this message. because Levites, right? Thrown in jail, lost everything, a business, everything, lost family, right? Several car accidents that if I show you the picture, you say, how did I walk away from that? These were no accidents. And all those things I haven't told you about. Total resistance. And I have resistance right now because they're trying to come in medically. All of a sudden, I got all these issues. I got my kidney failure, and I got what's the other one they saying? High blood pressure, and what's the other one? I got to have a biopsy for cancer and all this bullshit. And I know it's all bullshit. And I said, man, I said I ain't doing that stuff. I said the angel is my doctor. Angel said I'm gonna be okay, so I'm going with that. I know that's a setup. All of a sudden, out of nowhere. And I'm actually doing more. I'm doing more stuff now than I was doing before. Cause I used to be like 2 hours at the gym. Now 4 hours at the gym. Sometimes 5 hours at the gym. Right? Studying more. I'm exercising and fasting more. Right? Fast 3 or 4 days out of the week. Eat anything. So and all of a sudden, but my health is declining. I know that's just bullshit. Right? So I ain't gonna do it. So then okay then. I'm not going with it. They're not gonna stick no pellets up my ass like they did Farrakhan, right? They're trying to make a Farrakhan out of me. Right? Hold on here. So and a lot of stuff. I'm doing stuff every day. Every day. I don't complain about it. They said I wouldn't complain. I'm only talking about now for information. They said all the crap that I'm going through and a lot more than I'm even telling you, to tell you the truth. Right? And so now I got time I got to deal with these folks. And they ain't producing anything. After years and years of taking my time and energy, and I got all the other stuff, and I got to deal with that and get nothing out of it. You see? And then when someone lies to you, that means they think you for a fool. Now you take somebody and say, okay, I'm with you 100%. Now that's what they say. And then you find they're lying to you, and they lie to you to your face. That means they take you for a fool. And that's a mistake to do that with me. I tell people, you don't know me. I do what I need to do to get the job done. So like I said, I was like a lamb with these folks because I wasn't sure exactly how, because I know the Levites going to need someone to get through tribulation. So if these are the people that's going to do it, because they're connected with the books that they need the 2 books. But they ain't done a damn thing with them. So obviously not the people that's going to do it. So maybe the A government figured it out. They sent a vector on me. Maybe they're the vector sent on me, right? So okay, there's some of my books. I sent them in here, and maybe that's what that is. I don't know what it is. I don't care. The problem is that the bottom line, the scriptures tell me, you're for me or against me. How I know you're for me? Because you have to have the angel mind. If you don't have the angel mind, you're not for me. You don't have the angel mind, you don't have for me. If you ain't producing anything, that means you ain't for me. I mean, you here, and I've been spending time, putting fertilizers on you, sunlight, everything, and keep nourishing you, and I'll never see any fruit. So you're taking a lot of my time, and then you're taking me for a fool by lying to me. To me, I outright lie like I was too stupid to figure out that. That's not how I would never, I tell people they don't understand what's going on here. It says the Son of Man will take all out of offend. It says they need all offend. And that's the last person you want to offend is offend me. But that's one thing, when I was, all my life, right? That's one thing I never accepted. Like, I don't want to be in the background, but don't F with me. Leave me alone. Don't F with me, don't get in my way. That's one characteristic about me. So he started effing with me and playing with me and then take me for a fool. When I ain't asked you for anything, I ain't asked you to come here. I ran people away for their own benefits. They just get away. If you ain't interested, if you ain't 100%, just go away. Save yourself a lot of headaches. Don't come and try to bullshit me. Don't get in my way. Don't waste my time. The worst thing you can do to a person is waste their time, because that's all you got in life is time, isn't it? So I don't waste people's time. Right? Time is all you got. That's all you really have is time. And they waste your time, bullshitting you, and then take you for a fool. They're going to be surprised. And the thing is, people don't understand. This is not a joke, unprecedented. See? And it says those who resist, they're going to be crushed. And you sisters, you better be very careful about whose seed that you're producing. Because when they go, if they go, their seed goes with them. That's what it said, all trace of them. Because if you understand how this, right, if you keep their seed going, then they come back through again. And no, it's not going to happen. They cut off totally. So you got to be careful about whose seed you're producing. Because they go, their seed go with them. I told you, the total purge, it says, Son of Man will have total purge. It says, Messenger come the same way. Totally clean his house. And those that do get through, right, it says they get to the tyrant, and their seed is marked. It said their seed be a tattooed light of Muhammad toward this one, their seed be marked. So in other words, forever. So they okay, you fell into that category. You got through. Maybe you figured out the five pillars, you figured out the angel, and you got some of that right enough to get through. But you wasn't right. So then you give them the tyrant. And it says, your seed, right, be marked. And their seed be marked forever. We ain't playing the games here. Ain't no effing games here. See? Because what get through, it says the king will last forever. So if you're not 100%, you going, your seed going, everything, we totally cut off. See? You're playing with the wrong people. And you think, I'm tough? You wait till you run to Master Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad told us about him. Right? He said, the day of their wrath has come. See? Now, I can't tune in. Maybe I will be one day. But he can't. So he might be able to bullshit me, but he know what you're thinking. You see? So, I need to say that. And if you're thinking about come over here with some bullshit, you just, look, don't waste time, just detour, go. Just don't, you better off just go away. Okay? And maybe you make it, maybe you won't. But you get in direct conflict with me, but take me like a fool and use it, waste my time, all kind of stuff, then you a direct vector against me, a direct resistance vector. And it says, I crush everything in all resistance vectors. Crush them. Them, they seed all of it. Okay. Like I said, you sisters, be very, very careful about whose seed you're producing. When they go, their seed go with them. We move on, brothers and sisters. Habakkuk. Who are the Chaldeans should be are there? Okay. Let's move on to, now you can read this at your own leisure, brothers and sisters. But it talks about the Chaldeans. The Chaldeans are Caucasians, right? And I'll read a couple of things here, right? I'm not going to do the whole thing, right? For this vision is yet for a appointed time, but at the end of it shall speak. So this vision is about the end. This is Habakkuk 2. All of Habakkuk, actually. And not shall speak, and not the lies, though it tarry. And not lies, though it tarry. Wait for it, because it will surely come, it will not tarry. Right? It's talking about the angel, messenger of the covenant, the one he's seeking. Behold, his soul which is lifted up, behold, his soul is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Okay, but his soul, okay, that's talking about the ones that exalt themselves. They think they, oh, well, we good. You know, we're Americans, we good. We, you know, said no. It says, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, right? But the just shall live by his faith. They should be faith patient, right? Let's move on. Okay, now, remember the Chaldeans. Woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. They took this land, it's not theirs. So woe to him. Right? Shall they not rise up suddenly and shall bite thee? That means all the people that you've been abusing, these Chaldeans, they're going to suddenly come and get you. That's why I'm speaking to this one, because it's talking about the suddenness. Remember I told you, first it says, in the time, and this is telling you about, they were suddenly, this is time that's about to happen, brothers and sisters. Because they telling you what's going on in the Middle East right now. People right telling you right now, they're saying it could be happening right now. They know it's going to happen very soon. I've been warning you for this for years. 30 years, and more intensely. Farrakhan said, hey, Armageddon going to start. Well, his bullshit, where's Armageddon? It's going to be in Europe. Now all of a sudden he's suddenly quiet. And we got his ass, right? But, okay. So it says suddenly. See, this is going to happen suddenly. I'm telling you, all this will happen suddenly. Because they got the vectors in place to stop it. But like I said, their vectors require force. That means energy to maintain that force. So that means you got to put more and more energy in to maintain that force. While we be more energized, so our force is increasing. That means they have to increase their vector force, the opposing, to keep ours from moving. You understand? You got a vector. I ain't gonna show a graphic here. Got a vector, right? And they got a counter vector. And it takes energy to maintain that counter vector. Because ours is being more energized. That's why they can't stop it. The universe, it's more measureless than heaven and earth, will come to a sudden, and we get more energized. So that means we have more force on that vector. That means they need more force. It means they have more energy. Because we get more energy, we get ours because the way the universe works. But they getting theirs. They're taking it from themselves. So they may have less for everything else. Less for discipline. Less for comedy. Less for this. That's why, see, if America was doing so great, why they got to take stuff? Because they run out of energy. Or we got to take Greenland because they got the resource. Why? I thought you were so rich, America. You got so much. Trump telling you, we got all this oil here. We got all this mineral. Then why you got to take them other places? Because they don't have. It's a big lie. And now they've been exhausted. We got to take this. Got to take Panama, right? And we got to take the oil from Syria because they run out of energy to keep that counter vector going. See? So you got more energy, and then you got Suleiman, the messenger of the covenant. He's giving it direction. He's making sure you stay at direction straight on that. Focus that direction right there. Because they want you to divert your direction, either. Right, that's what Farrakhan doing, diverting your direction. So, hey man, no, you ain't going nowhere. That's his job, to divert the direction. Because you have vector, you have force, and you have direction. So he said, and Suleiman is a counter vector pushing that direction right back to where it's supposed to be, focus on the promised land. And vector, Farrakhan's, look, he's running out of energy. He got Alzheimer's, and everything back, because he's getting weaker. Because it's harder and harder to maintain that, and he got all these fools around him. They're trying to maintain that counter vector, point away from there. No, we ain't going nowhere. We're going to stay in America. Somebody said, no, man, that vector is back. That's why I said messenger of the covenant. He's got a vector pointing straight to the promised land. So it's a counter vector. And that's why it says, you put these things together, brothers. That's why it says, he will consume the son of perdition, who's he aspires the covenant. He's putting you in the other direction. So he's going to consume. That means it's harder and harder for him. If you consume, harder and harder for him to keep you going away from that, keeping you going in a different direction. The force he put in a vector and say, we ain't going nowhere. It's harder and harder for him to do that. Because Suleiman's got a counter vector pushing you back the other way. So You understand what I'm saying? So it's hard. So you got to use more and more energy. It takes more and more energy to keep that it takes energy to keep that counter vector going. And that's why I say he be consumed, spirit of his mouth. That means it's hard. He can consume. It's harder and harder to keep that vector going. Because all of a sudden you see on the internet right now. Well, have you noticed? All of a sudden, the black people are the true seed of Abraham, the real Israelites. You didn't see it before. Where they getting that from? It's all over the internet now. You didn't see it a year ago. It's all over the internet now. Why? What's causing those leaves to blow in that direction? So it's harder and harder, right, for them to keep that vector going away from the direction of the promised land. But it said it actually destroy him, because after a while that vector can be totally destroyed. And now he's almost gone. So it won't be anybody that preach that stuff anymore. We ain't going nowhere. Destroyed. Right? But that comes in, but it says all this be coming together, because where false Israel goes, that vector won't mean anything anymore. Well, let me hold off on that one. But false Israel go, that counter vector directly when the devils got set up. Right? But it says at the same time, when that happens, it says what? The accuser of our brethren is cast down. That means that counter vector is also destroyed at the same time. So you got both. You got the vector, the force vector, and direction vector, both going at the same time. See, the counter direction. So you got the vector going. That's the one pointing towards going home, right? That one, and they got a counter going because right. And then you got the one that's trying to force it in another direction. We ain't going nowhere. That one's both go at the same time. That's the math behind what's going on. That's right. If you understand the angel, you understand the math, pressure, and vectors. That's what I just explained to you in the form of vectors. And if you see it, that's why that's exactly the way it's working. The way the vectors work. Because that's what I'm saying. That's why it says all of a sudden, if you move this vector and move that vector, suddenly everybody comes together, focus what? On going home. Because there's nothing to present that mindset. Right now you got their mind, because they got a counter vector there. All of a sudden it's gone. The counter vector, the vector, the force vector heading that way, and the counter vector from Farrakhan, both going at the same time. They'll say the accuser of our brethren is cast down and destroyed. See what I'm saying? That's what it's saying. I'm trying to give it to you in vector language. What is it saying here? I can't see this, but hold on. Okay, well, I have to do it this way. For the earth shall be filled with the knowledge of the glory of the Lord, and water covering the sea. Okay, that's water covering the sea. That's what it's telling you there. There's nothing, going to be no resistance to this vector, to the angel. It says, this gospel preaching all the world, because once that's gone, that's the resistance to the victor. Because the angel is saying, okay, direction and force. And the force is increasing, but direction is staying steady. And no matter Farrakhan's his counter vector, he's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. Okay? You understand? So I'm giving you this form of vector. Woe unto them that giveth his neighbor drink and poureth the bottle to him and make him drunken. What it's talking about right here is they make us drunk. They feed us garbage, drugs, and everything else. That's part of their remember, we give them energy. But we don't want to use that energy mismanagement. So they just want to use that energy for that vector. That's when we wake up. When we've been energized, they try to take and try to minimize it, try to mismanage the energy so it doesn't be focused on that vector, focus someplace else. So if you have no direction, right, then you're going around circles. See? So you say, okay, don't use your energy for that. Use your energy to party, NFL, and everything else. That's what it's talking about here. So let's move on. Okay, let me go over this quickly, and then told you yesterday. Let me go over this quickly. Let's see here. See, I don't like this new set bounce. It's been very difficult to work with because it forced me to, well, it has the advantages, but still is a problem. Let's see what I do here. Okay, I'm going to have to do it the hard way. Hold on, brothers and sisters, for a second, because I can't see this too well. It's too small for us to work on one screen here. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Okay. Mm-hmm. 1 second, brothers and sisters here. English. Okay. Oh, not that one. Okay. Guess I can do this. Okay, I guess I can do it this way, brothers and sisters. I can see that. Okay, what it's saying here is, then it came to pass after these things that the, wait a minute, well, that's still the wrong one. Still the wrong one. Okay. Okay, basically, I'm just going to talk about it basically, brothers and sisters. It's what I was doing here is I was trying to show. See, once you got the angel key, then you should be able to break these things down. Now, this was a difficult one, right? But there's some that's some more difficult than others, right? But just give you an example how this key works, right? So, because the way it looks right now is that the Levites, they got to go through tribulation. That they did. That's their fault. After they matched for Muhammad, after Elijah, they fell for Farrakhan. And that was one of my questions. These three that show up, would it be somebody outside of the nation or somebody inside? Yeah, I didn't know. I wasn't sure. I mean, there's hints. Wasn't sure. But somebody's supposed to lead them too, because I'm not going to do it. Somebody's going to lead them to tribulation. Now, it prophesies I would be the one to go in and set that up. I don't have to. I'm not bound to do anything. Right? That was one of Elijah Muhammad's concern. He says, when he shows up, will he follow the scripture or do something different? So I haven't totally written them off yet. I'm getting close to it. But because if you have to take and find ones that's in there, that's problematic. Because they have to get the angel. There ain't no two ways about it. And so therefore you got to get them a background. And I won't be there for a year. Once this takes place, it won't be there for, it doesn't say exactly how long, but I know it won't be a long time. And so now you got to get them up to speed on the angel, right? Because that's what it says in Mark. And then they got to go back and tell the other ones. And they got to understand they got to get it right, and it was whatever. You understand? So, and that's what I was thinking about, the ones that will come before that was outside. Had years to deal with them. And if I couldn't get them to go, like I said, who are they? Were they for real? Because it years and they couldn't get into it, and how you gonna get a couple? Because see, my main concern, the only reason I'm still holding on to that, because the sister's there. I'm not making a difference between Shabazz and the Levite sisters. I ain't making a difference because they didn't know the difference when they was going through the Holocaust, and they the ones saved our nation. Period. Case closed. Full stop. They didn't say, "Well, you a Levite brother, or you a Shabazz." They didn't even know the difference. Just put that seed in me, brother, because they knew their hope was that one day they'd see it rise up and kick these people's ass that was doing that stuff to them. That was their hope. That's the only vision they had. Everything was taken away from them. The vision, the natural vision of being retaliating for harm. Because they was in suffering, they was in fear. And when you're in fear, you want to remove the fear, and you want to remove the people that's causing the fear. So that's basic. They couldn't take that away from you. They couldn't take pain away from you unless they kill you. They couldn't take pain away from you. So the only thing you had, only vision you had that kept you going was revenge. And the only way you could do it was through your seed, period. Now you see these Negroes right here. Hey, bub, hey, bub. Oh, man, they make me sick. And they're going to pay for the price because when time comes, they're going to come running. Hey, bro, no, hell, you, goddamn, you ain't with me. Go back there, fist bump with your boys. I keep my eye on them. No, you go back and fist bump with them. Go out there and let them eat your ass. No. Because ain't how in the world, now I'm not condemning, because I'm just saying, some people, the math of it, some people are born to be an example. Because a lot of people out there like that. Right? See, some of them, maybe some of them, but some like, right? But if you come in contact with me directly and you're doing that, you become an example. Of what, so not to do that crap anymore. Like I said, you grow in life, I said that, you can learn from experience, but experience leaves scars. Some people are born to be examples. It's like children. If they sit around here and they rebellious and everything else when you've done everything right for them, and you a judge, then they made themselves an example because you have to do to them. So because you can't say, okay, I'm gonna give them a pass and let the other children go. You can't do that, and that makes it more effective because here you do it to your own children. People get the message then. You see. Like I said, he comes with full of soap to clean stuff up. That's part of cleaning up. So if you come in contact with me doing that, okay, you part of the clean up. So see how we deal with people that do that kind of stuff? Oh man, oof, I should have been doing that. Because a lot of people are doing it out of ignorance because of vectors. But you still need to experience, you still need to understand that's wrong. Our people still have to come to that conclusion because they've been taught wrong about everything. So now they got to understand between. That's why I said they don't know left hand and right. That's part of what's in there. They understand what's the right, So what happens to people that do this? What happens to people that do that? Like rape a child. Or some people, example. So they say, okay, remember, hey, okay. Yeah, but they was doing it too. I don't know about them. I know about you. I know about you. You know our history? What they did to us, did to our women, and you ain't give a damn about your women? And then you fist bumping everything with them? You don't understand the math of it, brothers and sisters. Anyway, the bottom line, I'm not going into detail about this, brown sisters, but the bottom line here is Joseph's story. Right? So you read at your leisure, right? But they talk about, and see, you know, you put this together. It took me a while to figure this one out. But see, the thing is, what I'm trying to tell people is, this is not a damn game. It's like you work in a factory, man. You got to lift 500 pounds all day long, man. You gonna be, whoa, man. Then somebody come along, man, and say, hey, man, can you lift my 50 pounds? Hell, man, if you lift your own damn 50 pounds, man, I say I'm $100 I'm tired. I got to lift your 50 pounds. You understand? That's the point I'm trying to make here. This, forget about all the stuff that I went through, but the heaviest burden was to figure this stuff out. That was the heaviest burden. That was worse than all the resistance I had to go through. I had to figure this out under the resistance. Under all that pressure, I still figured this out. I'm going through all this stuff. 3 years on Demon Island, lost of this, lost of that, and everything else. And I still have to keep focused on this here. That shows you my dedication. I still keep focused because I had a lot of distractions. That's what resistance is. It keep you off keep you off balance. But they couldn't do it. And so the more you focus, the more resistance come. They're trying to get you out of balance. I remember trying to turn that vector around, trying to focus on, oh man, I got a problem. I can't do this right now, man. I can't do this injury stuff right now, man. I got to deal with this, man. I got to deal with Demon Island. I got to deal with my bills. I got to deal with, no, man. I kept focused on that one. That was total focus on that. Not my family or anything. That total. Because I realized what needed to be done. My whole Shabbat, Shabbat, and Levi depend on this. So I see the house on fire. Hey, you can't stop me from going there and get them out of there. But if they want to stand there, then stand there then. Total focus. And it's hard. 30-some years. And like this particular one here, it took me a long time to get this one. Like the one I did the other day, right? It took me years to get that one because I had to understand Daniel first, because that was a part of Daniel thing. So it was heavy lifting. So in other words, you say about, oh man, he lifting 100 pounds, that's heavy. Well, what's the mental weight? Because obviously it's too heavy for you because you ain't lifting a goddamn thing. So easy, how come you can't lift it? How come you ain't been able to lift anything? You've been practicing years, you just can't lift anything. Can't lift 10 pounds. Then you want to lie to me and try to bullshit me? See, that's wrong with stupid people. They think everybody else is stupid. I mean, if you're stupid, well, what else you want to do? You can't. He's wise. You other people recognize wisdom. If you're stupid, you can't recognize wisdom. That's stupidity to you. That was, and to put it in place and make everything's all right and everything took. You'd be surprised. You would be surprised. You know. Lift, go and lift 100-pound weight, then come and tell me how heavy it is. Don't tell me, hey man, it looks heavy. Lift it up. And then tell me, then you come and tell me how heavy it is. Don't tell me, oh man, it says 100 pounds. I know it says 100 pounds. Lift it. Lift it. I lift this. And it's mental. And it was hard. And some of these days was super hard. Some of these things took me years. I keep concentrating. I can't. And like I said, and I had to cross reference with something else. So I had to figure it. Like I said, the one I did the other day, I couldn't go anywhere with that damn thing. Couldn't get with it until I got deep into Daniel, and then they talking about the ram and the goat there. You see? And so I'm knocking my brains out. How come I can't make any sense out of this? And this one here was like, whoa, this is really weird, this one. Right? So let me bottom line here. It says it got uh, these cows, right? Let me see if I can. Well, you see here, you had the cows, and he has some ugly cows. So the ugly cows ate the other cows, right? But then it said when they ate them, it didn't do the other cows no good. They still was ugly. They were still hungry. I mean, they still like they hadn't eaten anything, because they didn't. That threw me, boy. That one threw me for a while, right? Because I had to figure out. I say, because they said, well, you got the ugly cows, and then you got the then you got the winds. Then you got the grain, and that kind of got me right there when I got the angel key. I said, well, I look how many parts they're talking about. Then some that right there to give you information. They talking about the angel key. Because they said, well, they got these parts. Then they got the famine, 7-year famine. Keep talking about 7. Well, 7 winds, right? 7 cows, 7 ugly cows, and 7 years of famine, right? And then the grain. So that gave me a hint right there, right? So bottom line is that this is a cow, this is ugly cows, because if you say it didn't, because that story you says we ate it, but it didn't do them any good. Like, so they didn't really consume it. That's how I went, you know. So that's what they're talking about, right? They're together, but they're not consumed. That's another way of saying they're together, right? Right. Okay. So they would be together, right? And then it says that the grain was like one stalk. See, these other ones divided up into parts. It's one stalk. So that means it was like this. It wasn't in the 7. But I said, okay. It took me a while to put that together. Then you got the famine, 7 years of famine, but that represents the abomination, excuse me, about the, excuse me, my voice. Energy deprivation that been imposed on us by the Europeans. Right? And then what it's telling you is that then Joseph became ruler, and that Pharaoh concept, they get so mixed up because it sounds like he's going to take over America. Okay. But if you don't have a full understanding of Andrew Key, you wouldn't get that. Because he ends up, let me move on, if I can show that. Hmm? See, so when the 4 winds blow, that's when they say they will attack the grain. And when that happens, then, right, and Joseph, you know, the vision is complete. Joseph gets the golden ring. So the bottom line, I'm not doing all the detail. I'm just getting the bottom line here, basic, right? Because obviously the demons got to go and all that kind of stuff. But that's what it's saying, basically. So it's telling you, as Joseph comes in charge, the famine's over. When the 4 winds blow, that means that's when we resurrected. Okay, leave it there. Leave it there, brothers and sisters. Leave it there. Who can stand? And this gets back to, I bring, some, oh, Jesus coming. No, he's not bringing love. What's that? Marvin Gaye. Love conquers hate. Really? When is love conquered hate? Where? Show me where. If that's the case, why not Jesus bringing back love? Only love can conquer hate. See, that's shit that they write for you. See, they tell you, oh, we got to be forgiving. Wouldn't they tell you that? Wouldn't a thief tell you that, don't steal? Because they want you to steal back from them. The mafia tell you that. They go steal from everybody else. But then if you steal from them, man, they really come at your ass. Right? So the thing is, right? I made a note myself here. Make sure it's, where you here? Hmm. I think I made a note about this. Anyway, the ones they tell you, oh, you got to follow the scripture. Scripture, you got to forgive. Okay, you also say you got to not rape, you got to not kill, you ain't doing that kind of stuff. But you gonna give me advice on what I'm supposed to do. But you ain't doing anything that you supposed to do. See, because you can rape, kill, and all that. Well, it said the Bible shouldn't be doing that stuff, right? But then you tell me the Bible said, yeah, but you got to forgive. So in other words, you can do all that shit, and I got to just pass it over. Is that how it works? See what I'm saying? But we buying that stuff, right? Because the vectors they put on here is God's going in a crazy direction. See? I mean, if your direction, your natural direction is this way, and they put a vector this way, now you're thinking that off at an angle where it don't make any damn sense. If you want to get that away, that's the way your nature is. So they got you thinking against yourself. That's why I said the man was fighting against himself. Because the vectors that we're supposed to. That's when he's got to get the hell out of here. Okay? But the primary vector right now, false Israel, but the point is that, because I said, why, like I said, I put a thing out not long ago. I said, would you see a false Israel, that people call themselves Jews, right? Even right there. Jesus called them out. He said, you fake, you're liars, you're synagogue of Satan. So how do they, wait a minute, something wrong with this picture. But would you see one of them walking around with a swastika around their neck? You say, man, that guy's crazy. He's out of his mind. He must be insane. Why did he walk around with a swastika on their neck after what the Nazis did to them? Then why in the hell you walk around a cross around your neck? Well, they did much worse to you than they did to them, and for hundreds of years. And you ever watch these movies? Every time I got a movie that black folks in it, they always got one black person got a cross around his neck. Always do that. That's part of the vector. That's part of the vector. Keep you thinking. See? Propaganda's vector. It's mental vector. They find out where the weakness part is, right? They want you to go in a certain direction, so make sure they put a vector in there going that direction. See? They don't do this like off the cuff. See, back in World War II, the Nazis got very good at that. See, Goebbels was like, they call him the master propagandist. And so after the war was over, right, they grabbed all the people that was part of that propaganda campaign, all of them. That's what they did. This is a fact. Google it. And they brought them to America. They took the Nuremberg trial, that kind of stuff. They bypassed that, brought them to America. They had them teach the American journalists and everything else how to do that. That's a fact. They took the scientists and the propagandists. That's a fact. Google it. Take my word for it. And the primary purpose, because we the biggest threat, because they did all this evil to us. We're a nation, we're inside a nation, but they can't have us see us as a nation because now you got a war. We can't become a cohesive nation because then they got a war. Because man, we want to do it like we want to do it, but they make us do it like they want us to do it. So we have to follow their laws, which is against nature, and be doing 305 years. That was the law. That was the law. They was applying the sealed Bible law, right? So they were successful at it because that's the law. We had injured deprivations, we were slaves, we didn't have no power, right? So that worked doing that, but now that's the ending. It doesn't work anymore. That's why wisdom is failing. It's being destroyed. You see? But they studied us, and they say, okay, that whole thing about Willie Lynch, they didn't call it vectors. We said, okay, you got to tell them this. They got to tell them this. And they set these vectors up to keep us divided, confused. And that's why Master Muhammad showed up, right? With a vector that puts back on the right course. Elijah Muhammad picked it up and was working. And they had, oh, no, we got to stop this. He unite this nation. And Farrakhan come here to counter that vector. See, from a mathematical point of view, everybody's exposed, everybody shows up. Understand? We see it from a mathematical point of view. See? So I say study vectors. I told somebody study vectors. Yeah, I'm studying vectors. They come out with some bullshit. I'm gonna be Mr. Stupid Cupid. Boy, I tell you. Ooh, it's not a game. Some people gonna find out the hard way. If they experience these scars, sometimes fatal scars. You understand, your brothers and sisters? So they put these vectors to keep you just so. And so I had, and I said, and so I had to fight those vectors. I don't know how many, right? He gave me the right directions in some case, right? But I still, because get the angel. Once you get the angel, that means you've overcome all those vectors, and get total focus. But they telling us stuff. Love conquers hate. That's a vector. Love don't conquer hate. We see in the Bible, love conquers hate. Where? And that's right. This right here. I come to set fire on the earth. He ain't come with love. He come with hate. You mean you love people when you put them in hell and destroy them? Or you hate them? If we don't hate people what they did to us, we don't hate these devils what they did to us, he take hate out of the dictionary. What do you want to call it? You mean, what did God say? He said he loved Jacob but hate Esau. If he loved this world, why is he getting rid of it? Why did he send the flood? Did he hate, when he sent the flood to drown everybody, did he hate him? He loved him? Or it didn't matter? He hated them. So he drowned them. Men, women, and children. Is that genocide? So he got you going and coming, brothers and sisters. Going and coming. Okay, I'm gonna just talk about one of these topics here. Dilemma. War. This is where we are right now. The war. I'm gonna talk about this first. I got all these topics I want to talk about to finish off this dilemma. So this is I got to this point, right? So let me go on. Now, I'm going to just talk about this and then I'm going to close, brothers and sisters. I see a lot of things I had to talk about, so I'm going to get those out. So I'm going to finish this tomorrow, the next day. At time of the end shall the king of the south push at him, and the king of the north shall come against him like a whirlwind. Now, these guys, you haven't found anyone yet, anybody paying attention to Angel, that figures any of this stuff out. Damn fair. One verse in Angel, not one, not even close. You got this Son of Man out. Oh boy, when they get a hold of him, see, the thing is, he might be better off. He got the Son of Man got a hold to him, because now people get a hold of it when time comes, and they kick out Legion, Farrakhan, and they face with tribulation. One thing I want to know is, did you know anything about this? Because they're going to be in shock, because they weren't expecting this. They're going to feel fear too, because the fear going to hit them too when this great fear comes, but they don't come out of it. Some of them miss anyway. They'll be shocked too. And not only that, now they know they got to go through tribulation. At that point, they're nervous because they don't know what I've been telling you about, the 5 pillars and all that kind of stuff. Because right now, all they see is land. Damn, we got to go to this damn furnace. That's where they see it right now. Until they start applying those things, they find out, hey, no hair, not hair, be harmed. Right? But just it don't happen right away. Because you just because you serve slop right now, that don't mean solve all your problems. You got to, you get stronger and stronger. Your hearts get firm. You say slop one time, your heart get totally firm. No, it's get firmer and firmer. More firm, the less fear you have. So you go into tribulation. At some point, right? You pick up speed with it. No, nothing will harm you. But initially, you're gonna be under shock. You're gonna feel all those things because you don't have them in there. You don't have 5 pillars. You don't have the angel. So you're going to feel the shock, you're going to feel the panic, you're going to feel all of that. And some people will be lost. If no hair in your heart be harmed, how some people lost? So you got the initial phase. I mean, anybody pay attention to this initial phase, and then you start doing this, and as you're doing it, right, then you come to the point where now you neutralize, right? What they come at, the resistance they come at you, you neutralize. Then it doesn't bother you anymore. There's no hair in your head to be harmed, but you're gonna get. But most of the people they ain't there. So initially they're gonna feel the shock, they're gonna feel the fear, all of that stuff. They're gonna wonder. The first thing they're gonna wonder is, how come we wasn't prepared for this? How come anybody was tell us about the measure of the covenant? See, how come And now and they're gonna see, like I said, and what they see is not all they see is they gotta go through tribulation, which is hell, the worst time of pressing in trouble, and all the hell, and they're gonna understand at that point what that. They not understand what it means. They're gonna be information line. Well, that's the word. I'm just making it up, right? Be informed, right? That it's gonna be cannibalism. It's gonna be chaos, war, attacks, the whole. Oh man, we gotta go through all that. They don't have a protection at that time, and they may not. They only got the promise that they're gonna be given food. So they're going to be under panic, under chaos at that time. And then first thing going to look around and say, well, damn, how come nobody tells us this stuff? They can't look at me. I've been telling for 30-some years. You got the proof out there. So why do we know about this? Wesley? Son of Man? Jeffrey? Some of the people that claimed they was with the angel, had one clown, he came, he's the widest man on the planet. Just when I say something else, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, excuse me. Now I have to say it that way, because that's the way he came across. So he's true. His whole seed is gone. So he came across. I mean, he attacked me. I'm the widest person on the planet. That's what he's telling everybody. But just when I say something, I'm a fool. I can't say anything. Why are you going in? See? That kind of shit I deal with. I didn't ask him to come here. I did not ask him to come here. I ain't asking anybody to help me. He don't come up here with his bullshit. You see? Then you got other ones. One just outright lied to me. You can't lie to me but once. That's it. Because it says all liars are thrown into the lake of fire. All liars. If you got injured, you're not a liar unless you lie to your enemies. And if you lie to me, then you consider me your enemy. I explained that very clearly. I said, I lie to my enemies. That's what's supposed. That's self-preservation. That's not a lie. That's truth. Not supposed to tell your enemy what you're doing. But lie to them. It's not even in the Quran. The Quran, they mislead. I'm not going there. So if you lie to me, that means you made me your enemy. So now you get the price of being an enemy. You understand? They did it themselves. I don't have time for it. Got one come in with that one, but then others come out with some bullshit. They try to bullshit me on some stuff. All right, man, you know about, y'all know about vectors. I don't have time for that. So you mark yourself. Blame yourself for it. Look in the mirror. What you see is what you built. So you have the king, talking about the king of the South. Now these clowns out there, right? Like I said, Ishmael, Wesley. Now people are going to know, well, why didn't you know anything about this? Okay? And they said, don't you know you judge angels? And they might be better off with me than with them. Because they're going to be under panic, they'll be angry. And the women and children got to be involved in this because of what these clowns did or what they didn't do. They should have knew better. They should have got behind this. Be on top of this. Okay. 100%, not 99.9. I can't say I haven't been. And they're gonna take. Ooh, they're not gonna be friendly with you. Because they're going to blame you for not being prepared for this they got to go through. Especially if you're supposed to know about it and they do anything. Hey man, there was a bridge. We've got this here, and the other side is safety. And all we needed was a bridge. And they got all these metal beams here. Right? And all you had to do was put the beams together, build a bridge. And you said, just look at the damn beams. And now it's time to go. We can't go because there ain't no damn bridge. Because you said, I'm looking at the damn beams instead of putting them together so we can get across that damn bridge. What do you think they're going to do to you? What do you think they're going to do to you? Now my wife, the enemies coming after us, right? And now they're going to be lost in this battle. We could have just walk across the bridge because all you had to do is put the beams into place. All you do is, you say you saw the beams, you saw the angel, you say you see it, 100%. So how come you didn't build the bridge then? So you explain that to them, see how they think about it. See? Anyway, it says the king of the south shall push at the king of the north. Now you talking these old evangelists and everything, they try to tell you, the king of the south was, king of the north is Germany. King of the south is America, so I don't know. Somehow I forget how they say it. But they say, I know the kids say the king of the north will be Germany. No. That's Iran. And this is happening right now. America's pushing, the king of the south is pushing them. They're pushing at them right now. This is timely. It's about to happen. And he said, the king of the south will come here like a whirlwind while he's pushing. So that means preemptive attack on those planes? That's what it's saying. This gives more detail than because it tells you, it says, the war broke out in heaven and Michael's angels fought against the dragon's angels. And they fought back. So it sounds like, if you read that literally, that Michael's angels, they make the first move. So the war broke out in heaven, and Michael's angels fought against the dragon's angels, and the dragon fought back. So that means it's preemptive. They can make their move first. Because they've been threatened. When I was growing up, you threatened me, that was your ass. I didn't sit around here and wait you to do something. If you threatened me, I was on your ass right then. I didn't wait you to throw a punch. He's threatening me. You better not hit me. What? I ain't play a game. You threatened me, you might as well hit me. Because you come and threaten me, I was right on your ass. Bam. I mean, one time I was in military in Germany, right? So I kept to myself pretty much, right? And like we had this, we was permanent, right? What do they call it? So I shared this room with this guy, right? And so we had, it was two bedroom. And there's a guy called, other blacks, they didn't like me too much because I was always in fights with these devils and they didn't like it. I had a problem with that, right? Because they used to be mad at me because I was kicking devils. I didn't care. I wasn't afraid of devils. I could understand why they were. It was mostly from the South. But I didn't understand it like I understand it now. And like I said, I never took any bullshit from anybody. Because my father was hardcore. And after him, boy, I never took any. After 5 years here, boy, ooh, he made me a Navy SEAL, special for everything. He did it because he put something on my ass. So he was when I was 14, I was a man. I was ready to go, right? So I never took any bullshit from anybody ever, right? So, and every time these devils, they was come at me, they just come at the other, they'd be good, and man, I get in fights with them, and they never put me in stockade or nothing for it. So I guess the white guys, they were surprised. They said, I guess this nigga, man, he fight back or something. I don't know. They never wrote me up for it. I was always in fights with them. I guess they were surprised to see something like that, right? So anyway, this dude came in, a new dude came called Deadeye. They call him Deadeye. He's from Arkansas somewhere. Put me tough, right? So they schooled him on me, right? So, cause I said, I kept pretty much my distance because they didn't bother me. I bothered them. I said, because I never was a follower and all that kind of stuff. And all the black dudes, like I said, they used to get mad at me. And they just attack me because I was kicking white folks, but right? Anyway, that's a long story. So one day, Deadeye showed up. I hadn't met him. I heard about him. He was a super tough guy. I called him Deadeye. So one day, man, this afternoon, after work, and he comes, somebody knocked on my door. Boom, boom, boom. We had a private room. Boom. Yeah. I said, who is it? It's Deadeye. I said, what you want? I want you. Oh, he's going to punk me. I said, okay, wait a minute, right? So I had to put my shirt on, right? Open the door. I went on him, right? I ain't waste no time. Just knocked him out. He was bleeding all over the place and everything else, right? So somebody called a sergeant, night sergeant. They came and got him. I remember the brother. This is the brother, Roberts, I think his name was. He was a night sergeant, right? They took me to the hospital and they fixed me. Nobody said a damn thing to me. I didn't get no write up or nothing, right? Then I ain't mess with me no more. Right? So I wasn't that type of guy that says, okay, I'm gonna argue with you, fight. No, you want to argue? You want, hey, blip, 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 sober. Got time for the bullshit. Right, so I never heard that out of no boy. Right, so that's me. I said, people, you don't know me. I mean, I don't know where I look to you. Maybe I look like a tutti frutti or something. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's where I look. But that ain't how I am. And people find out the hard way. Right? So it sounds like, if you read that together, like Aranta makes the first move. But man, the Master Rama's going to be with them. He's their 12th man. And I'm going this right now because this is happening as we speak. And they thinking right now that they're telling Rand they need to do a preventive strike because they got those B-52s, nuclear capable, not too far offshore, that they say is going to attack Iran maybe with nuclear weapons. So this could happen while I'm speaking. So everybody can say, I'm not Farrakhan. Watch the weather. No, this speaks directly to that. Directly to that. So that's what you're going to see in a couple more days. And the sound to me is they're going to make the first move. They're going to go at preemptive. That's what it says to me. Because it says, Michael's angels made war with the dragon's angels, and dragon angels fought back. So that sounds like Michael's initiates it. But they've been threatened. So Saddam Hussein was stupid. When he was threatened, he waited until the punch came. And the punch knocked his ass out. You threaten me, I don't know wait till the punch come out yet. You can wait till the punch come. Because it's coming immediately. Okay? So if you was bullshitting, that's your problem. You should have been over here bullshitting and bluffing. So that's why I'm telling you this right now, brothers and sisters. This is happening as we speak. This is happening right now, where we are right now. And they say he gave him he's always they said they're putting everything in place right now. If you read, everything's in place. Okay, let's move on, brothers and sisters. Here it is. Occurred war in heaven. Michael and angels of him to the war with the dragons and angel and the dragon warred and angels, they warred back, they fought back. But they lost. And they was thrown out of the Middle East. That's what it says right there. See? And then when it does that, it says the dragon, talking about House of Sard, the Shia, Sunni, right? They're going to attack. Oh, don't show it here, maybe the next one. They're going to attack the Nation of Islam. Because the point is they stay on our land. And they've been attacking us all the time. Anyway, they're paying Farrakhan, they're paying Wallace and everything else. They'll stop us. There's help fueling that vector. Stop us from talking about that's our land. We ain't going nowhere. Okay, I'm gonna leave it there, brothers and sisters. Well, maybe look at this quick. Let me see what's happening here. Okay, it says here's, and through the dragon out of the mount. Okay, this is where attacks the Nation of Islam, all blacks actually, because they can't distinguish between the demons and the saints. But this is where it's talking about where they attack. I said everybody's going to attack us because you didn't know. Farrakhan's telling you. Remember again, he's telling you, "Hey man, we got to be with the Sunnis." He let them out when he let them in the temple, but now we got to pray with them. We got to. That's the golden calf. See? So we got to go along. And if we become Sunnis, then there's no promised land to us because they already got it. Ishmael got it. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. But it's talking about, I said, we got all these wars we got to go through. So all the Sunnis here, they're going to attack us too. Fight wars and everything else, they're going to attack us here. We're going to attack by Esau, attack by Ishmael, right here. The devils. All of it. That's the tribulation. You see, if you look at the angel, the ark, right? You see under the ark, you see the NOI. And right in the middle of the Sunni, which is the golden calf. Right? It says Elijah took and made him drink of it. That's no story again. I'm not going to explain that. Right? But that's, see, they're not in the ark. Right? But they're just above the water, so they're in the tribulation. That's about there. Let's move on. And this is when Farrakhan goes down. See, her voice, heaven said, right now become the salvation and the power and the kingdom of the God of us, and through the Christ of him, because we're strong, the accuser of our brethren of us, accusing them night and day. That's Farrakhan. You're sinful, you're wicked. He goes down at the same time. That's what I'm saying. Right now, that's what I've been talking about for years, and now we're right there. We're finally right there. This is going to happen within a few, maybe hours or days. As soon as that war starts, you're going to see all these things. You're going to see false Israel going down. You'll see red nations immediately come together, see the great army. You're going to see Farrakhan gone, right? Nation of Islam coming, right? All suddenly, because those vectors are destroyed, and now all of a sudden the nation comes together. And then when they come together, that's resistance. Everybody's here. It's going to come after them. Esau, Ishmael, all of it. And that's what's going to happen. Okay. And then it says they got a brief, because remember that when the four winds have to blow first before they come together. That means you got that brief period where you're in the shock, you're in the fear. Because when they will attack you, that's part of the panic and everything. So in other words, you can still be harmed because you don't know that. You don't have the 5 pillars yet. You don't have all that. You don't have the injury yet. So you're going to be in shock, you're in panic. And then you come together. Assume I'm right there. First, you're going to be right there to give it to you. But it's still, you got to install it. You got to activate it. And so a lot of people are going to be lost in the process. I'm going to leave it there, brothers and sisters. I'm going to leave it there. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. But that's what you're going to see almost immediately and not sooner. Immediately, not sooner. That's what I'm telling you right now, in detail, what's about to happen here. Not watch the weather, in detail. And that's where we are right now. Because right now they're saying Iran should, preempt preemptive attack. They said war is inevitable. Everybody knows it. And I've been talking about it for years, and now we're here. So at what point? And they said if Iran's going to preempt, they should do it immediately. Take out all those bombers. Trump's pushing. His credibility's on the line because if you don't make this deal, we're going to attack you. Well, he's threatening. So if you was threatening, remember Iran, they're the Persians. They used to be black, right? They're the ones that invented chess. So you threaten, you wait somebody to punch you. They already threatened you. That was their mistake. You threatened me, that's your mistake. We should start punching. If you're going to threaten me, you should start punching before you threaten. Because you telegraph what you're about to do. Well, I'm going to sit there and wait you do it? That's what happened to Saddam Hussein. You threatened me. Think about it. You threatened me. So you telegraph what you're about to do. So I'm supposed to be stupid enough to sit there and wait you do it? You were stupid enough to tell me what you're about to do, so I go ahead and take you out. Knock your ass out before you can do what you're going to do. Otherwise, I'm going to sit there and let you knock me out. Think about it. That's where we are right now. And it's based on what this is saying. It says Iran's going to make the first move. That's what it sounds like to me. It says war broke out in heaven. Michael's angel fought against the dragon, and they fought back. I mean, right? And then the other one, I just showed just now, right? That's, not this one. Oh, okay. I'm not going to get back to it the other way. Oh, King of the North. That's what it says here, too. It says the King of the North should push him. That's what America's pushing at him. So it says this move, as while they're pushing, they attack him, they're pushing at him. Okay, get it? That's why I'm reading it. And they're pushing. And that's what it said, Iran. What's Iran saying? We attack, we're gonna tear everything, we're gonna blow up everything, we're gonna kill any country that helps you, we're gonna take out all your military, 50,000, everything. That's what it says. Come back at a whirlwind. Isn't that what it's saying? Isn't that what they're talking about? Assalamu alaikum.